Are we live? What's going on here?
What is going on, guys? It's your boy, Josh Norbido, the Norwegian weirdo. Oh, it's also Doug Con, Douglas J. Con. That's not even his middle initial. You know what I'm saying?
I'll change it. I'm not really happy with my middle name anyway.
What is your middle name?
Well, I don't want to talk about it now that you mentioned it.
Hey, you got to tell us now. Now we're dying to know.
That's not my father. Dad, if you're watching, I apologize right now. I'm not talking about it.
Fair enough. Wow, welcome to the podcast where we don't talk about things, guys. We're here and we're excited to see you all in the comments. Jace, you almost got in a fight.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
Do you want to give us this is like cutting edge news. Just give us the
I know there's so much more stories about that weekend. Look, we'll introduce our sexy new guest. And then we'll dive into that a bit later on.
All right. Actually, he could give us some tips as well on that.
Exactly, on how to be English
and fight. Yes. So guys, this guy, I would call him underground because a lot of you probably haven't seen him before on our channel. But this guy is doing some cutting edge magic. He's really pioneering the world of virtual magic and exploring and getting all the big names. So we have a special intro for him, and we're going to bring him on right now.
We have Adam Axford. He is a magician and a wordsmith. Adam mixes visual illusions with psychological experiments, creating a mind-blowing, transformative experience. Whoa.
Adam uses his extraordinary skills to challenge the way we think about the world and our part in it.
Wowing crowds across the globe, quite literally, because he's doing it virtually and he's unbelievable.
Now listen, when I see you, I'm going to give this to you. We'll make sure you get this. It's got to go on your fridge, okay?
I love that.
Is that
ladies and gentlemen, it's Adam Axford.
What is up, guys? Thanks for having me on board. What an intro. Thank you.
Dude, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. I know you're a busy man these days, but how are you doing this morning?
I have been, I'm good. A little bit of exercise. I caught up on some of your recent podcasts. That was good. Yeah, it's roasting hot. I want to get to the beach after this. Yeah, it's a good day. Good Tuesday over here in Sydney, Australia.
Same state as Jace right now. You guys are neighbors, right?
Good to have you up the road now, Jason.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Last compliment I'll ever give you, Jason.
There's a first and last, apparently.
First and last, yeah.
So how would you describe your magic, Adam?
Oh, I
like to the viewers. No, that makes sense.
Better to show than tell. No, so I've got a bit of an interesting angle. I don't really dive in nerd style to the magic realm, magic world. I mean, definitely a nerd in many departments, but that hasn't been the one. Though, of course, I have a lot of respect and love for magicians of all kinds. I like to find some underground people who really impress me in some unique ways. Of course, people like Darren, I absolutely love. But I got into this when I was like 19, 20. I'm like 36 now. So about 15 years ago. And throughout my life already up to that point, I'd always been interested in these alternative ways of achieving things. And this was reflected within the family business. So before I was even in my teens, I kind of was working with my father doing illegal activities in the realms of copyright stuff. So we were like mainly pirating PlayStation 1 games, just to throw it back. Now that evolved into PlayStation 2 and then DVDs when the DVD boom came. In 2006, he actually got sentenced to jail for these crimes. And this is like me throughout my entirety of school life. So I went to this incredible school. I was really smart as a kid and got into this school. And then I was deviating rapidly from the straight and narrow path that they were trying to prescribe for us. So yeah, I was definitely my father's son in many departments. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about communicating with people. We were working at markets and things like this. So like the rawest part of interacting for, I guess, selling stuff, you know, and little shady deals. In my teens, I would cruise around with Polo Lacoste copies in my boot of my car, selling them at £10, £15, 20, whatever. Sunglasses, I was selling trainers, all these things, Tiffany jewelry. I would stop off at like hair salons and cafes and speak to the women there and sweet talk them into buying these little kits. And look, I weren't making bank, but I was hustling. And it was all about, ultimately, I've only drawn these dots during reflection in COVID, realizing that I was selling an illusion to people and people were buying into that illusion. They know what they're buying into and they're enjoying the lore around that, the lore, L-O-R-E, not the law, but put that away, or the law that we are breaking. And yeah, and that was it. So I've always been fascinated with that. And when he went away, I realized I'm going to end up where he is unless I switch up my game plan. I started taking the communication skills I'd learned by working for almost a decade as a young person at international markets in London. And of course, all of the swindling and little ways of shucking and jiving and, you know, wheeler dealing. And I legitimized it through a pathway of magic. So here we are.
Wow. So that was your weekend. How was yours, Doug?
Suddenly, I feel like an underachiever. I didn't have that good of a parental influence in my life. Mine suggested the military and such. I ran away from home to be a magician, but that's my story.
Well, Doug, you just suggested that was a positive influence. Listen, I love my dad. I don't know. I've made good out of what I've been given. I don't know if it was a good influence. I know this now,
late in my life, not having been a big success, that to be a good, successful magician, you have to be a hustler. You got to sell yourself for sure. If you can do that, you can be a successful entertainer. And looks, you know, from what we chatted pre-show and now, like you've got the whole show going and, you know, you can back it up. So congratulations on the successful pivot.
I think it's alchemy, right? You know, turning lead into gold. So I think that's probably my actual skill set in life. And I use that and leverage that for doing well eventually in whatever I choose to do.
I don't know, man. You're a grinder. You're a grinder. I remember
I'm
meeting
not on
you
Grindr,
like, 7 years ago.
Sorry to disappoint.
I met you like 7 years ago and you refused to get any kind of job except for doing magic, even if you weren't making a whole bunch back then.
Oh, yeah. I moved to Sydney with a backpack and trying to, you know, succeed in a role where it is recommendation only and no one knew who the hell I was. So it was a grind. And I refused to get a real job. I've never had a conventional employer. I don't even know how to talk about that stuff. I've never done it. But if you do hustle and keep going and don't give up and don't have all those distractions, or then eventually, I think if you have your heart in the right place, you will become successful at whatever you do. It is consistency over time. That's it. That's the key.
And a little bit of luck.
A little bit of luck, yeah. I mean, the more consistent for the longer time, I think the more luck pops up for you. Definitely, if you've got the right attitude, then yeah, it definitely appears. And sometimes the magic of the world shows itself, right? You're like, oh, wow, this is just too good. Someone writing this story for me. So yeah, I love those moments.
Exactly. And for us knowing who you are and what you've been doing lately, man, like the stuff you've been doing in the virtual world has been crazy to watch. You know, obviously your rise in it and your experimentation and stuff. But, you know, you don't have to go into the secret sauce and that kind of thing. But what was it that kind of like made you either so curious into virtual magic, or like the thing that sort of pivoted you into like, oh my God, all right, here's a ton of work, let's go. And then just, you know, head down.
Like 2019 was my most successful year to date up until that point, you know, and that would be, I arrived 2014 to Sydney. So it took me 5 years to really get in a swing of things. I actually had a 5-year goal, and I achieved that goal on the evening before my 5th year anniversary being here. So it was so poetic, and I really like sort of pushing into the meaning of these things. Then I was like, great, this is amazing. So that was like 4th of December 2019. I'm on a roll, smashed out the Christmas period, had some bookings lined up for next year. Let's take this momentum. I'm going to the moon. And then this World War III started happening, and then Kobe died, and then COVID happened, and then 2020 just materialized as all of our hopes and dreams dematerialized. And in that process, I'm very used to, for extended periods of time, not having any money coming in, not having any work going on, just through the nature of only ever pursuing my own endeavors, and then they're not all successful from the jump. So I chilled on it. I was like, it's cool. I've got enough savings to see me through for, you know, a decent amount of time. Let's see what happens. And I got an email. Actually, a friend, Robert Townsend, a magician over in Perth, Robbie T. Shout out, Robbie. He sort of
shout out Robbie.
Robbie said, sort of hooked me up with an email from a client who was asking to connect with family due to lockdown. This was Easter 2020. And I took it as a call to adventure. And I realized, of course, Joseph Campbell, the cave we fear holds the treasure we seek. So I did this goddamn awful thing of setting up 5 milk crates with my MacBook Pro on top on my balcony, so I could stand up to any place. I had like a room in my apartment at the time. And I remember I had like this whiteboard behind me. I'd figured out how to write isolate in numbers upside down. So we did like toxic. And I was just kind of rolling with it. And then one thing led to another. I started doing like virtual appearances, 10, 15 minutes for like $50, $100, like pittance, stuff that I'd moved so far ahead of those times, but I was willing to humble myself and start again. So I have to give credit for that. And it really, I had gratitude for the ability to be able to perform when like 99% of performers didn't have that avenue anymore. And then it just rolled on, and I learned my value, and the clients got better. And I think my show got better. It must have. I got a lot of reps in. Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. I'm very blessed to have come out shining from it. I know a lot of people haven't. And if anyone wants advice, feel free to DM me. I'll do my best to help in the ways I can.
I mean, we can tell you've been, it's been getting better, because you showed us something just before we went on that, you know, magicians wouldn't think to do in their show. You know? You're bringing like cartoons to life. It's,
well, I was kind of playing around. Exactly. And I can talk through that. Like, my luck is that it won't work out right now that we're on live, but I'll try it. This is just work in progress, and it may not go anywhere. But I wanted to sort of start a routine with a riddle. I very much love the words. We're going to hear too many of them out of my face today. I'm sorry in advance. And the riddle was, you can see it and you can touch it, but if you place it in a bucket, it will make the bucket way less. So the bucket will be lighter. And my plan was to have this big envelope, and then I'd pull out the answer and turn it around, which is, of course, a hole. It would actually be this hole over here. And my goal with this would be to sort of use it to produce something that had already been chosen. And essentially, this was the idea. And just being able to go in and like reach in and pull something out, and just be a little bit different, a little bit creative in the process. And of course, it is just an illusion, and it's like one of those Acme holes, and you can peel the hole off the wall. And
nice.
So this was this was the idea. And look, it's just something I'm starting out with. It's just the building blocks, but I think it's pretty cool. I'm using.
It's very cool.
That was fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, it looks pretty. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
so it's going to need some tweaking, and I could do with more of a routine plan for it. So the wonder isn't just the visuals. The wonder is the outcome overall. But we'll work on it. We've got time early in the
year. Will that be available on Penguin Magic?
No. Sorry, I don't deal with penguins.
Got to be that's real magic.
A lot of magicians these days discount the virtual magician, but exploring the toolbox gives us some wonderful moments like we just had. So thank you very much for showing us all what it can be, right? What a great moment. And yeah, we're just doing things in new times. I dig it so much.
You're very kind. You're very kind. I don't want to claim to be a pioneer at all in this field, but I have borrowed a few things from outside of magic, or reappropriated other concepts and ideas to put them into my virtual show. And really, I could do a whole lot more and rig this room up, you know, but I haven't really gone to that extent. I don't want to make it feel too gimmicky in performance. But even right now, there are a few things which aren't as they seem. And I really enjoy that. I mean, an illusion occurs when what we believe does not match with what we perceive, right? There's this discrepancy between what we witness and what we believe to be true. So I just like kind of playing on the meaning of that. And even the most subtle example can be the biggest storyteller, you know, like just the simple fake take can be the best thing to watch for someone if you load it with meaning. Yeah, it doesn't all have to be elaborate.
I love it.
That's how magic should always be presented. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I appreciate these comments. Hell yeah. Nice gang. Nice gang. I love this platform. It's wonderful being able to interact with those who are viewing. Shout out to the viewers.
Yeah, it's great fun. And so we had Jace was going to tell us a story just before we brought you on, but we thought we'd wait to bring you on because you also, people don't know this, but you're a Krav Maga instructor. Is that correct? Did I get the right?
I am qualified.
Yeah,
I'm qualified Krav Maga instructor. Yeah.
So,
I'm taking a bit of a break at the moment, but definitely it's been a big part of my life. What's the story, Jay?
Yeah.
Josh wanted me to tell it, but it's just about like a confrontation when I was doing some street shows.
Because with great power comes great responsibility, and I think he handled himself well.
Well, I wrote about it all on my blog. No, I'm just kidding. It's on my Facebook, which is basically a blog, I guess, for everyone's life. But anyway, I was doing a show. I was in the middle of the build, and I had like 20 odd people just enjoying themselves. And these 3 gentlemen approached my table with this kind of like, like toxic sort of stand over you kind of attitude. They just came in trying to make my show their show. So I addressed it early, and I addressed it in a way that was, I wouldn't say confrontational. It was just kind of like, hey man, look, there's no reason to be, extra. Let's just try and enjoy the show. I'm not going to have you ruin it for these people. Let's just try and enjoy the show. And I move through it and I get to this part where I go, have you ever seen a coin fall down? You know what's coming next, the coin fall up, whatever. And as I said that, one of them goes, no, but I've seen a man fall down, which is like a clear threat of violence, right? And so I just set the coin down.
He's been to improv class, hasn't he? This guy.
Stepped around my table. I got within centimeters of all 3 of them, right? They're all trying to be macho. And it was basically like an invitation. I was like, either do it or go away. I was like, you can't like make a threat and not follow through and then expect to watch my show like the whole way through. So I was like, either do it or go away. And then sure enough, they tail between the legs and left. And then they came back later and apologized to me, which was great.
Oh,
came back and apologized. And then I showed them some magic and it was actually a really good experience, right?
I hope they tipped you.
Wow.
No, of course not. But that show that I did was actually like a massive show that day. It was incredible. The crowd really enjoyed.
Yeah, if you can overcome an obstacle out there, the crowd really is your super friend.
So here's a story I'll share with you though. This one's a good one. So lately we've been having issues with this busker. I won't make any names and I won't say what they do, but they're just bullies, basically bullying other buskers. And they decided that they would have a go at me because I'm pretty new in Sydney. So I guess they figured maybe I'd be easy prey. And they started threatening, like if I'm doing a show anywhere near them when they start busking, they're going to get my license taken off me and all this craziness. And I was like, okay. I tried to resolve it with them peacefully, super peaceful. Right? I was like, hey man, look, let's chat about it. We'll see what's going on. Like if my show's making it hard for you to work, then we can do something so that we can both make money. There's plenty of money on the streets, plentiful country Australia is, plenty to go around. And then he's like, no, you have to do what I say or I'm going to get your license taken off you. And he's like going all crazy. And I was like, all right. I was like, I was just trying to work it out with you to help you, man. I was trying to help you out on this, but you're clearly not interested. And then yesterday was Valentine's Day and Darling Harbour was really busy. And I wasn't even going to go in. I was like, I'll take the day off. I'm going to stay home and relax. And Yuki calls me up. It's my wife for anyone that's watching. Yuki calls me up and video call. She's like, look, it's busy out here. You should come out. And I was like, nah, I still don't want to do that. I still don't want to go out. And then she sends me a picture of this busker. She's like, oh, he's here. Of this guy that was like trying to harass me and, bully me off the pitch and stuff. And I was like, oh, and I freaking grabbed my gear and I ran from my house to the pitch and I set up next to him. And I did this huge, massive show and completely blew him out like he couldn't make any money. And I did it without an amp. I made sure I didn't put my amp on. I wanted to send a message. And that message was, if you fuck with me, I will set up next to you for the rest of your fucking life and you will never make a cent. Needless to say, it worked, and he apologized.
There's a wonderful Jay-Z line from early in his career where he says, to kill a man bleeding is nothing. To kill him whilst breathing is saying something. And I think that's what you've done. You managed to, destroy inside what's going on and attack the core of the problem. And hopefully you'll learn from it. Maybe you end up being friends. These things can happen, you know. He might not have the worst intentions. He might just be expressing them in a very incorrect way. But it's good to allow these things some time. You know, I've certainly been a dick many times in my life, and I reflect on those and I think, damn, I could have played that situation better. But hey, this is what we do, and this is how we roll. And where personality is, we have to be big, larger than life, and unfiltered often. And sometimes that comes out in the wrong way. So yeah, I'm glad you stepped up to the mark, mate.
Yeah, I think if more magicians did that, we'd have less hecklers. Do you think?
Maybe, but you know, it's all personality based as well. I don't know that everyone could,
of course,
could conduct themselves like this. You know, old Timmy Two Toes.
That's true. We can't all be Krav Maga and boxing fighters in the background.
Real. Yeah, my advice in that situation, I mean, it sounds like you've handled it, and I know like you've got absolute decades of experience on the street, Jay. So you know how to handle it. I know you've had to deal with similar physical situations before, which you don't have to get into. But you know, I know that you're tough and you're weathered. I mean, good on you stepping up in front of them. I know you probably had like 20 or 30 witnesses, some of which might have had their phones out. So these things can help. Though I'd say do not step anywhere close enough for these people to touch you. I feel like distance, social distance. Hey, I'm going to get you to keep a distance from me after that remark. And yeah, just because one lucky hit, you know, it could be all over. So
not if I'm that close. I got so close that in order for him to get a lucky hit, he would have to take a step back. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Close the distance enough that he can't.
It would have been that or a kiss, right?
Yeah, or a cuddle. Yeah, we could have hugged it out. In which case, it would have been peaceful resolution all around.
Yeah. I'm not even allowed to shake hands anymore. A kiss from a stranger is violating.
Contract COVID, not a punch.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what we're talking about.
A punch? What?
I don't know. That's how much dealings I've had with conflict.
That's that soft corporate life, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. My buttery soft.
Adam's tried his hand at busking. Isn't that right?
I did some busking. 2012, London, Covent Garden. That was hard. I remember I had this issue at the time, and you know, I was shouting, not speaking loudly. And so I was shouting at my crowd rather than talking loudly with them. And that's cool. That was one of my first, you know, that was the feedback I got from my first 20-minute busking thing. When I moved over to Sydney 2014, I was like, I know what I'll do. So I went and got a table, a few bits of kit, went up to Darling Harbour, went to Opera House vibes, and yeah, did some busking things in 36-degree heat. There's pictures of me online. I'm like, topless, dripping shorts. I look terrible. I haven't adjusted to the climate yet. I don't think I have really either yet. But it was character building. And I just come from this spot of doing like, I think I did like a big like oil companies and banks and investment companies in London. And I was like, great, like I'm on a trajectory. I'm getting in there to spread my message with the people who have a big say over how the world runs. So I felt like a little Trojan horse. Moved over here. And then I'm hustling with a hat. And I remember this one woman, she came up after my show and I killed myself in this show. And maybe there's like $6 in the hat or something terrible. And she reaches into her Coach purse. I'm like, oh, okay. Purse is worth a few bob. Reaches, dives around. I'm like, all right, is this going to be a crispy 50? What is it? And she pulls out a 10 cents and she holds it up to me like the Eucharist in church. Right? And then drops it in my hat. And I looked at her and I thanked her. Not for the money, but really for the lesson, the humility.
The body of Christ.
And it was that point then I realized that perhaps I was focusing my efforts and energies in the wrong department and I should put them elsewhere. So, yeah.
The key is you gave it a go. Yeah.
Did give it a go. Did give it a go. I tried it.
We've all been there.
I had a tip like that. I had an older gentleman, way older, senior guy, takes out his pocket change and counts out 46 cents. This troubled me greatly. You know, it's like, why not 48 or why not all of it? But it was 46. That's what I was worth.
It sounds like a Gregory Wilson trick, to be honest.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I added this to my show.
Oh, you're kidding me! Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, I take a card. Did you accidentally like put the decimal in the wrong place, Jay?
No, but I do make a joke about that just so that people get on edge a little, you know.
Very smart move in this day and age.
Yeah, I make I worked on the scripting for it, so it works in the show really well.
Yeah, right.
It actually turned into its own like a segment of the show where it's like this comedy moment where I produce this FPOS machine and people end up losing their shit, finding it really funny, and then they feel more comfortable about the idea of using this FPOS machine as well because of the introduction. And then
I wonder if you could drum up, if you could like reach in and get your card out and ask if anyone has got their payment card with them and show it, and they're going to do an experiment. Maybe you could do something where it's involved in their hands, and then you go around with like a change bag or something and gather them. And I don't know. I'm thinking about like a roulette with cards. You know, people like play these card roulette when you want to pay at the end of a night, you know, and everyone mix their cards up, and whoever gets picked up, they pay. Could be an interesting plot.
Jace,
Josh has got it, he says.
Scrap the watermelon. Scrap the watermelon. Just produce that under the hat at the end. That's all you got to do.
You know, that would be very funny. That would be very funny, but I don't think it would be as powerful.
Okay, do it as a double ender, a double kicker ender. You know what would be
even more powerful is if I produce the watermelon, break it open, and on the inside, FPOS machine.
Now we're talking.
Yes.
Now we're
or there's a little part in that, right, where the receipt stuff comes out of.
Yes.
Right. There's a little.
Is.
So it's maybe there's a folded up card in there, and you're like, oh, what's in my shoe? Nothing. Oh wait, no, it's this FPOS machine. And then inside the FPOS machine is a card. Dude, I mean, it brings it into play.
I think I prefer just presenting it as a whole comedy piece because I like adding elements to the show that aren't magic related.
Okay, what about this? One more.
Everything as a magic.
I like this shit.
Okay, what about this? Okay, what about this? Now, in case this was the same as what Adam just said, what was the synopsis of the effect you just suggested?
It was like credit card roulette. So you gather some cards from people in the audience, and then somehow someone gets selected to pay the tips for all of them. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. So to build on that, what if you set the ATM to $1,000, and then you have one credit card, and they're put into the pay envelope, so only one has the card in it, and then so it's roulette, right? But the risk is their card gets tapped on it and deducted the money. So
it's more painful than smash and stab for sure.
Maybe I should just do maybe I should just have a paper shredder instead. Wouldn't that be more interesting if I just shredded the cards?
And then on the second last one, you could actually have a sound effect going beep, and then they're like, oh shit, that wasn't meant to happen. No, never mind. And then you show that it's actually theirs was left over. These are all things that...
These are the things Josh thinks about when he's pretending that he's a busker.
Yeah, like, I don't know if that would play well, but that, you'll definitely have that one person watching. These are all the reasons...
Being a street magician and then taking people's cards and pretending to swipe them, borderline scam probably wouldn't play terribly well.
Well, look, these are all the reasons why I was revoked my busking license when I auditioned. So, who am I to offer advice?
You should get back on the street, man. You might do okay. You got some original ideas there, big boy.
I could put a sign saying, I know street magician dude, and then they'd watch the show. At least. Well, maybe that doesn't have to be a busking thing. It could be a corporate stage show and have the CEO put down their card.
That's more likely. People aren't going to cop up their cards on the street, mate. If I give it away foolishly, I'd be on my phone transferring funds out of that account straight away.
I think that could be it. You don't now. Up to you if you want to answer this, but we had a question from Henry. What's your go-to trick if you're on a video call?
I can show you one, actually. Now, look, I've got to preface this. I'm no means master and expert at any of these things. I just feel like I have a way of piecing things together in a very palatable way for people. But I do have one.
Make it clip this.
It's actually... cheers. I've got no face reactions. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm here with you. This is good. This one's actually... I need a fresh deck of cards for this, so let's go.
Nice shorts.
Actually, yes. Cheers, I told you it's 1,000,000 degrees. You're lucky I'm wearing any.
You're also frozen.
Yeah, now we're back. We're back.
Oh, you still got the keepers.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is based on how our expectations affect our reality in some way. I feel like a lot of illusions are based on expectations and what we expect to happen, you know. For example, never judge a book by its cover. In life, we tend to do these things all the time. Calm down. Of course, then we have misdirection. Misunderstandings when we weren't wrong to begin with. We're actually correct, and we do really have a correct deck. And then people begin to expect, yet again, that the back of these would have all of the pictures and designs we've grown to love on a deck of cards, and that's not the case. They're all blank. And then I can actually sort of prove to you that this is just a simple trick with that pesky blue one, and we'll get rid of that. Behave. My Siri is trying to speak to me. I must have said something. So now we go anyway, full deck of cards. And what I'm trying to say is we've got a full deck of cards for us to play with. And typically in these positions, I would get one chosen. So just to make this nice and easy, loud and stop. Stop me anywhere. Anywhere.
Stop.
Stop. Look at that machine precision, exactly where you stopped me. So we get one chosen. This is the point where I kind of talk through the acts of a magic trick. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 being, of course, the pledge, where the magician shows the things to be ordinary, spreading the cards, letting you choose them, and then ultimately getting a card chosen, and we would steal that away. Of course, Act 2 is when the transformation happens. So the magician would vanish the piece, vanish the corner. This would be the bit where you cut the woman in half, levitate the elephant, vanish the car. Obviously, we're just doing a card trick. And of course, Act 3 is the prestige. We've all seen the film. And the prestige is the poetry of the moment. It's the coming together. So up here on my easel, I've got the corner of one card. And it is a perfect fit. And it has to be a perfect fit because it is the perfect piece that the card you've chosen, right? So here we'll keep going. I actually like to add an Act 4 to this. I'm a little bit extra. So I take the corner, and Act 4 I call the commitment. And the magician pushes that corner into the skin. And then we end up with this wonderful moment where I get to keep the corner. And,
oh, damn.
You know, the card I get to give to you guys, and that way the magic can continue. But actually, they pull me full screen again, because this is one of those illusions that it doesn't end when you think it ends, just because it didn't start when you thought it began. And you thought it started when I took the blue deck out of the red box. That's not the case. It actually began when I took the box off the shelf, because I don't have a shelf. Like I really don't have a shelf.
Jesus.
So there are so many we can be fooled for our expectations, right? You know, and this is a metaphor for how we interact with the world. You know, we see a 0.0035 of the electromagnetic spectrum. Then that information that we visually observe is filtered through our beliefs, our understandings, our expectations, our judgments. We have no clue what's going on. And we really take things at face value. And that's really not always the case.
The ultimate ending is if you were like, and now I'm not here, and you just peeled the whole screen off.
Mate, I can do it.
So, Henry, I hope that answers your question. That's a great go-to trick, and cool, huh? Just do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do that one, but then I found it too hard to carry around a wall to stick my shelf on while I was doing street shows. So.
All right, mate. Well, sometimes talking to you feels like talking to a brick wall, Jay. So you've got that integrated.
Right. There he is, Mr. Comedian over here.
Dude.
That's by the way, Adam, we're having a party on Monday, man. You coming?
Can we put your
address
see
you there.
Facebook?
No worries. See you on Monday.
Yeah, just say your address here. That way he will have heard it.
That way all 16 viewers will be able to come along. It'd be awesome. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
It's cute. He thinks we have 16 viewers. More like 16,000 viewers.
Oh, it's double the amount of friends. Let's go. Let's go. No, I'll be there, man. I can be there on Monday. That'd be awesome. And Josh, I think you're allowed to fly interstate now. So they're about $60 return tickets. So we'll see you.
Wow, is that it? Damn, I might have to make the trip.
It's like $80 for buyer and return.
Yeah, we'll see you down here, bro. You coming, Josh?
Wow.
Josh, you on your way,
see you there.
Bro, you on your way? You can wear your watermelon shirt.
We can be matching. I would love that. Yeah.
Actually, I want to say a few things about you guys. Doug, I don't know you at all. I've not met you. I've always enjoyed
Doug's amazing.
Your
He's the most successful magic guy here.
Mate, you really have a wonderful way about you, and it's lovely. You're curious, and you have this calm warmness to you, and I feel very safe. I feel I could hang out with you and chat to you about anything.
12 inches.
About that.
Oh, sorry, wrong show.
Josh and I, we've met once in person, and you're really kind. You're here for a trip to Sydney for an opportunity, and you made time to come between your flight and the moment to have brunch with me, and I really appreciate that. That was wonderful, and I could tell you're as good in real life, if not better, than you appear to be on screen. You've got your whole vibe fucking polished to perfection. Jason, we met, maybe 6-7 years ago. And no, I want to say there's one thing that I really enjoy the most about Jason and our interaction is we can have savage banter to the point where literally we have had friends in the room with us who had thought we were about to fight. They weren't good enough to step in and say anything about this. They just muttered it on messages afterwards. But they thought we were going to come to blows. And I guess it blew me away. And I was like, I guess it's just not everyone comes into contact with certain behaviors, and that's completely fine. But Jason and I, we can be like those two dogs in the park who are wrestling and fighting and grappling, but it's not malicious. But they're doing all of the things, and we're sparring. And that's
wait, you've been friendly doing this?
Mate, this is very honestly, I barely even show my teeth. So yeah, that's something I really enjoy, and I had that a lot in my life back in London. We're very much focused on the banter. You've only got to watch an episode of The In-Betweeners to see what UK politics is like between friendship groups, and we're savage. And with you, Jay, because I think it's the street performance thing in you and the rapid quips and the thick skin that comes from it, we can just chat absolute savagery at each other. And
I'm mean to Josh as well. Josh can handle it too.
We've done it on the podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah, Josh can handle it too, man. Just come at him.
There's no shortage of banter around these parts.
Good. We need
it.
We need it. Put everyone in their place.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a busker as well, you got to have some thick skin about everything, really. But certainly out there, it's, no telling what's going to happen out there with your kindred spirits.
Hey, Josh, am I going to warm up the crowd before you show, huh? Am I? Am I? Huh? Am
I? Why not? Why not?
Oh my God. Yeah. So Adam, what's next in the cards for you? Obviously, you're killing it on the scene. You're doing your thing. You've created a life for yourself that was envisioned many years back. But what's next on the agenda? Are you going to continue doing the same gigs, or are you going to try and move into social media a bit more, or like, what do you think you're going to do?
I think I found my recipe, and I'm just going to refine it. And so this year, what I'm really trying to do is move a little bit more into the focus of my brand and understanding what that is, and having more congruence and understandability. I tried to put so much into my work for years that I realized looking back that it was confusing. There's many conflicting elements. I put the multifaceted personality of myself, all my different characteristics on screen, on my website, on here. I'm trying to compress this and condense it down to one thing. Beautiful little slide there, Doug. I like it. Like the way you just carry a pocket knife with you too, ready for danger. So yeah, this year's that. I've got some exciting projects coming.
New Orleans.
Bro, it's stabbing season, baby.
So he's going to protect himself next time he gets heckled physically.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, that's how we handle it in New Orleans. We just go right for the stabbing. Just get it all up.
Well, I'd hope that they were combs so he could flick it out and then just start grooming himself, and everyone would laugh because
there's nothing to groom though. He's bald.
Yeah. That was funny about 20 years ago.
That's funny when he had hair. Both Josh and Doug can't follow that. They can't do that joke.
Adam, I'm curious, if you don't mind me asking, do you book yourself, or do you have agencies that you get your work through to do your virtual shows? How might one approach this arena, if you can offer some general advice to anyone interested?
Yeah, for sure. So my thing has been relationships with agencies. I think maybe 60 or 70% of my work comes direct. And then the other 30-40% comes through agencies. And the thing with the agents, especially some of them, I know Josh and I think we're on the same roster for a nice big agency over here. And that really helped me elevate how I perceive my own value. It is this crazy thing, people telling me for years and years, just charge more, you got to up your fee and charge more. And you always have this guilt attached to it. And it was so difficult to really do it. And I'd do it in little $100, $150 increments each January, maybe July, and I'd up it here and there. Can I squeeze an extra 50? Can I squeeze an extra 100? Anyway, when I finally managed to integrate my value into my pitch and understand that, now that is not an issue. And through hopefully like elevating the perception of what I'm able to offer, like I kind of put out there that I was like Australia's #1 virtual performer and all of these things, completely unquantifiable. However, I had to live up to that benchmark that I was giving myself. And it pushed me to demonstrate value in many ways. And it might not be like the best show in the world. I might not be the best performer. I might not deliver my ideas the best. However, the overall package and the way that I was delivering value to the team, I would do a short 30-second preview video promo in my studio. What's up, guys? This is for the team at AWS in Stockholm. I'm going to be joining you guys on the 25th for an interactive show. And I'll be doing some visual magic in the process of that. And send that to the client, so they've got that. Then we would give them the Zoom link. Then I would do packages. I'd send out a couple of packages per show to key members of the team. Even international, I'd organize for this to happen from the person who was booking me, and they would work with me to, let's say, like shuffle something in the right way and deliver it to a member of the team. And all of these things were adding value. And afterwards, send them a recording, private YouTube link of the show. I would have custom footage I would film with reveals in it that I put in the show. So there was lots of effort, and that was the value that I was offering. And it was nothing for me, really. I put the work in, and it was great fun, and I felt like I was earning the fee that I was charging.
Well, you say it's nothing for you, but dropping something like a custom video with a corporate logo or that doesn't happen automatically. You know, it's a definite value. I can see why you're successful.
Hey, bro, could you stick your shelf back on the wall, please? It looks a bit weird sitting on there.
Is it tripping you out, mate? I'll do it for you. You just want to see my lovely shorts again, don't you? There we go.
That's it. I just want to see those legs.
Hey, that's why big brands like
hasn't seen sunlight in years.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Adobe, all those big names are booking Adam, and it's because of his shorts. So that's what we appreciate.
I'm thinking there's some good misdirection there, misdirective opportunities. You know, everyone's going to be looking at those legs. You can get away with anything in the upper half.
I think that's what got me the first time.
Yeah.
Let me ask this.
I was staring at that ass.
I think this is Jace. I think this is part of a trick, because later he's going to get up and he's going to have full on like red tight jeans on, and
nothing on.
Watermelon pants, watermelon leggings. That's what I need. Just,
watermelon leggings.
Stand up with nothing but a dick sock.
Wow. That's
Bro, didn't quite hear it, but I know the vein of your comedy in general, Jason. So,
oh yeah, well, try and guess then if you didn't hear it.
Well, I think vein was the key word right there.
Vein?
Vein. Not vanity vein, a different kind. I get it, right? Who's a real wordsmith here? It's you, Jay. Right.
Wait, when you say Jay, do you mean Josh?
Bro,
well, I'm a wordsmith.
Josh. It's one syllable. You don't deserve the two, Jason. Jay and Doug.
My goodness. But yeah, so you've got your plans now. Everything's wrapping up for our hero, Adam. So,
I want to get out and make an episode. This is something that I've kind of been.
Yeah, we need to go on film some street magic, man. Let's go and
a little bit of that, but yeah, no, I want to do a pitch for it. This was ready to go in May, June last year, and then Lockie D came into place for those 4 or 5 months stuck at home, and it just became too intense for us to even like break the rules to get out and meet people and do things in studios or whatever. So yeah, I've got a plan of really pushing the wordsmith vibe. So I'm toying with either wordsmith as the title of the show. This will be hopefully for TV. I mean, not TV, stream platform or wherever it goes. Probably end up going nowhere, but often it's the who you become in the pursuit of that's helpful, and other opportunities will come from the endeavor.
Absolutely.
So it is the pursuit of perfection that enables us to grow, not perfection itself. So keep pursuing perfection and you'll grow to fit that. And that, yeah, so either magic words or wordsmith. These are the two things I'm playing in, and it will purely be about the way language and communication shapes our reality and how we can use that to read others, influence others, make predictions about the future, assessments, etc. So yeah, kind of like a revised Darren with a little bit more of a focused aperture specifically on linguistics.
Right, now let's switch gears. What linking rings routine do you like the most? Do you like the linking rings, bro?
I mean,
he has a linking ring shirt, so he loves it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
it was on it. It's in our thumbnail.
Shirt. What a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I've got the Venn diagram on my t-shirt, don't I? Yeah, that is a linking rings routine, and they're black too, just like my Masato rings. Perfect. Look, mate, I don't focus on those type of magic so often. Someone like Jason flourishes in that department, and it's beautiful watching his work online.
I just got a subscriber.
Boom. There we
there
go.
It is,
that
the
was
linking shirt.
Boom. Available adamaxford.com.au/merch. I haven't built that page yet, so I probably never will. But yeah,
like if I ever run,
stop me in the street and ask me like where I got it, and like it's kind of a nice compliment. Yeah, some weird idea. Get it printed, and people ask you about it. Yeah.
Well, you got that shirt printed.
Yeah. There's a printers nearby, and I've done a whole bunch of work with them. I figured like. I used to wear other people's brand names on my t-shirt, like I was like paying to advertise for them. So now I just started like designing my own things if I want a logo or design, and I wear my own thing. And I'd rather like, be an advert for your own vibe and your own direction and step into that. And yeah, I'm sure Ralph Lauren's doing fine without my help. So
this is very
sorry, Josh. Would you like me to let you get a word in?
No, it's fine. It's fine. At least the right person is doing the talking. Love you.
I'll limit to one-word answers from now on.
No,
this is good.
I was just interrupting Josh intentionally to try and upset him, but it didn't work.
Dude, that's the least you could do to upset me.
What's the most I could do?
I don't know. Teach a rubber band trick I love so much. I don't know. Just off the top of my head. No,
well,
you could.
I was just about to release my new Rubik's Cube tutorial, man.
Oh, good.
So I call it Josh's Got Talent Act Revealed.
It'll do well. I mean, the first video didn't do so well, but maybe the reveal will. That's possible.
Yeah,
but no, we're all good friends. Anyway, so Adam, you guys, you were talking about how no one got that joke.
Right, I have the power to remember.
Yeah. I thought that was a glitch, but you just excluded Jason. That was deliberate. I like it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, you know what they say. How does it feel, Josh?
You feel like I have a lack of power here.
Thanks, bro. What is happening here?
Always remember that I have the power too, Josh. I've hacked into this server.
Because I gave you the power.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll never
change
relinquish
the password, Josh.
We haven't.
You can't change the password. It's a password code.
No, there's no password. We're stuck for life, Jason and I. So there's no password change. Yeah. Look, Doug and Adam have a link, which is New Orleans. We didn't dive into it yet on the podcast, but do you want to lead us in?
Adam, lead us in.
Yeah, I asked Doug where you were from, and then you please tell us, Doug.
Oh yeah, I'm from New Orleans.
New Orleans, Louisiana. Awesome. At which point I was like, obviously thinking of stuff we might be talking about. One of my favorite artists, music artists, is a hip hop artist. I'll share his name in a moment. But he's a magician. And he's not a magician as in he practices magic tricks. He's not a magician as if he performs magic tricks for people. He's a magician in the purest sense, in the way that his entire career, and he's almost mythological. I know he exists because I met him in 2009 and I had a photo, and my camera phone was so bad in the dark that I could barely make anything out. So that image is long gone. So even the evidence has dissolved. But yeah, he has created his career in a way where in 2005, a track came out online called Act 1, The Pledge. And it was a 15-minute video, mainly no drums, 4 different beats that would change. And during them, there were vocal snippets from movies, different bits from speeches, really interesting concepts and ideas. And connecting those were 4 verses, one per beat. And they were very contrasting in how they felt. And it's a masterpiece. It's 15 minutes. It's called Act 1, The Pledge. The artist is called Jay Electronica. And some people may have heard of him. He actually got signed to Jay-Z's label Rock Nation in 2010, and we're anticipating his album Act 2, The Turn, to drop in 2012, and it didn't. And during this moment, he ended up dating a Rothschild. This was a dude who was from New Orleans, and he was homeless after Katrina and just literally went broke to New York, was sleeping on trains. And then he kind of managed to make his way up to a level of underground recognition. And within 4 years, 5 years, he was being signed by Jay-Z, one of the most successful musical artists of all time, Jay Electronica. So in this, Act 2, in typical Act 2 fashion, never arrived. The album, the project, the thing that we were, and he's like a messiah of the hip hop purist community. And we were like, we cannot get enough of this. This guy would like rap like a prophet over a beat with no drums and just deliver this message to the core of your soul. He's incredible. You won't find much of him on the streaming platforms. So you got to dig deep and find the gems. But Act 2, the album, eventually in 2020, hackers found an unfinished version. They put together about $5,000 or $6,000, that's it, to overcome some legal issues, and then they leaked this album out on the internet. So I have it. Act 2. Exactly. And I've listened to this so often. It's beautiful. It's incomplete. It's unmixed. But even in its incomplete way, it is one of the best musical experiences I've ever had. And I will throw it on start to finish and not look at any screens and just enjoy and take it in. And it moves me. It's transcendental, right? It bridges this gap between art and soul, and it is just so I'm waiting for Act 3 at some point. Maybe that one will actually get released for a legitimate platform.
So does he have a platform where he would address these issues of people
dude would vanish for 2 years on end. He would disappear. He would go. He's like a vagrant. Like he just travels around and lives like a gypsy, for want of a better word. But he has a baby with Erykah Badu. She's an incredible neo soul singer. She came onto the scene, I think, in 1996. And she's an album, Baduism, just turned 25. She's incredible. And she has a baby with Andre 3000, with Common. These are all like my favorite rappers. So this girl was like an alchemical princess who just transforms these princes into kings on the mic. And they had a thing. And I just fascinated with him, and the absence of information about him creates this mythology. And when we do get something from him, we cling on to it and treat it with the respect it deserves, rather than listen and never again.
Interesting.
Wow.
I'll look it up. I'll take a peek and listen for sure.
Probably the biggest influence on my magic career has been that guy's music and his career in general. And I think if I could somehow create the feeling that I get about him and his art in the mind of someone else, even if I could get 10% of that at some point in my life, then I would have achieved greatness. It's a high bar to live up to, and it's underground, just as Josh suggested that I may be at the beginning of this pod. So.
Yeah, right.
I mean, for you to talk it up that much, you have to check it out.
Underground now, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, I start with Act 1, The Pledge, on YouTube. You'll find it, 15-minute version. Throw it on and listen. Or you maybe can find like an 8-minute version with all of the extra noises and clips sort of compressed into just the verses, and then you'll get the journey quicker. But either way, 15 minutes of your life, switch off your screens, put it on, and see if you're moved. Amazing character.
Count me in.
Wow. Done. Good vibes today.
Yeah, I'm just that was great. If only we had now ended the pod by like now playing that 15-minute act, you know.
I do a sneaky, because a lot of his music hasn't been officially like released. I can get away with taking like instrumental pieces, and I'll place them often to the background of some of my promo videos and clips because it means a lot to me. It's beautiful music, and no one knows where it's from, and I don't get flagged. So
that's amazing.
I just use Epidemic Sound.
Yeah, that's another option, Jay, for sure. I will borrow your password.
Surprising the bigger
it doesn't work like that. That's the sad thing.
Sorry, Doug?
It's surprising the labels haven't sold his stuff, right? They're just that true to the artist. Like Jay-Z has got enough money, he doesn't need to sell this music.
Like, I think there was some severe conflict. So what happened is this dude, he began a career where he was like very much like he had like a line like shooting at the Rothschilds and stuff like this. He was trying to bring down the global banking system and overthrow the evils in the shadow governments and all of this. So he was really pushing these concepts, these ideas, which is just absolute candy for me. I love this stuff. But with that, I think he screwed up his own career for commercial success by being anti-commercial. And I don't think he wanted the career. He just creates art and he doesn't care. He doesn't, he's not doing it for that. He does it when he's ready. It's on his time. That was it. But around that time, 2011, 2012, he moved to London. He was recording an album with Round Table Records, which is owned by Kate Rothschild, the heiress of the Rothschild dynasty, the World Bank owners, the IMF owners. And he ended up, she was in a relationship for 15 years since she was a kid with this dude, Ben Goldsmith. The word Goldsmith might ring a bell too. So he's the heir to the Goldsmith dynasty. And these two were in a marriage with 3 kids. And then J-Elect was recording music with her and they had some affair and it came out on Twitter. And I think they pretty much blacklisted him from having commercial release for a long time.
That's about right.
He upset the wrong rich people,
Oh, at least they let him live. Jesus.
I know.
Yeah, right.
So that's crazy. Just be my. I think that'll just be my main talk. I'm going to add this talking topic to my agency options.
Like look,
environmentalism, futurism, and tech. J Electronica.
The viewers are enjoying it, man. Adam has an awesome way with words. I mean, that's one way to put it. Absolutely. What do you prefer? You know, you've obviously been very creative with the virtual world, but what are you finding you enjoy more, man? Live or virtual?
Like I get the energy either way. One thing is a live show is less exhausting. A virtual show is more exhausting for sure. And I feel that it's because there is more of a give and take from the audience when you have them there. And I can speak quietly. I can allow silence to permeate the room. I can read the room. But on virtual, I can't do that because firstly, everyone's on mute and I've got a few people on screen with me or whatever. We're like this. So I have to beam my energy into the screen. I have to set the cadence. I have to be this guy. And who I've developed as a performer for virtual is just like a more hyper focused version of live and it flattens me. So bring back the stage gigs. I've got one next week in Melbourne. So that's for the university. So yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Teach them a thing or two.
Yeah, hopefully. It's all on environmentalism. So that's it. It's an environmentally focused magic and mentalism show for the uni students. So yeah.
Would you say it's cool and cozy, environmentally friendly?
Is it
that's a thing that you know, back when we had Chris on the pod, he mentioned, you know, a lot of the top magicians are being recognized because they have a point of difference. And I think Adam's found a couple of those, you know, being recognized as a wordsmith, as an environmentalist. These don't just
actually
happen
environmentalist.
That's right. I was looking at that, trying to figure out
please don't be
the proper pronunciation.
I think I could have just dropped the N, and if I did enviro capital mentalist, it would have been amazing branding, better than it was. But yeah, that was a cool idea I lent into. 2018, 2017, 2018, I really started pushing some more of my passions, taking care of this beautiful country, for example, beautiful planet, and putting these ideas of environmentalism, recycling, sustainability into my work. And then that garnered me a whole bunch of gigs with local governments. I think I took about a third of my income that year from sustainability budget from local councils. And they booked me to come and do an event, and I'd roam around. I'd do magic tricks that were just like loosely themed towards that messaging, and people really liked it because it's a depressing topic. And I wouldn't talk about the depressing side. I would empower people with positive feelings and their ability to transform the world. We all have that power. So yeah, unique selling points, Josh. You've absolutely nailed it. You need something unique about you, or you need to look at what is unique about you, because we all are unique. And if you're really into collecting baseball cards, or if you like building things with matchsticks, like incorporate that into your show, because you care about it in a passionate way, and that passion will ripple through in the way that you deliver that content. And regardless if people like the content or not, they will love the passion, and that speaks to people. So yeah, find what works for you in your soul and your heart, and double down on that. Just push harder, lean into that.
You heard it here first, folks. Any other last words you would distill with our fellow magicians watching?
Distill?
Distillation.
Is that the word we're going with, Josh? Distill?
Nice alchemical.
I'm trying to match Adam's level, you know what I mean?
No,
I want him to permeate
the wordsmith and Adam.
I want him to permeate the room, unlike Jason is doing in his room.
Someone turned up to biology class. I like it. A selectively permeable membrane. I remember that.
Yeah.
Science class.
They're all very pertinent words. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right. No, I do have one closing.
What makes good trick? Well,
what makes good trick?
That's better.
Random caveman noises. I begin my show with this message. So this is something I'm very much pushing, and everything I've worked towards now is.
In fact, hang on. Can we just get you to do the whole show now? That's all right.
I got
but you've only got
in a minute, Jay.
yeah. Anyway.
The final thoughts would be this: to remember the magic word we all learned as a kid, abracadabra. It has 2,000 years of history, and the word translates from ancient Aramaic into "as we speak, we create." We shape our reality with our words. The world is made of language, of communication, of code. Our DNA is like software which creates its own hardware. You have a seed. The seed contains the information, the words, the language, which builds the tree, which fruits and creates more seeds. It's a linguistic journey, all of it. Focus on the words in which you choose to think and speak, and you can transform the world into how you wish it to be. Abracadabra.
And we end there. Finish pod. Finish pod. Now. And
any words?
No, end that one. That's finished.
Well done.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.